Hello everyone, welcome back to Zero Tolerance TV. ZT here. Game 2 of Reach vs. Nara. This is going to be on the one and only Paradox. Haven't actually seen a PvP here yet, so this is kind of new. I think there's going to be Reavers. Somebody's going to go for a Reaver drop, I think. Yeah, probably. Maybe both of them. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you can go Corsairs and PvP on this map or something. I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be weird. I think some Corsair vs. Corsair action could be in our future. That would be a little sick, but to be honest, I kind of doubt it. I think we're going to see more shuttles than Corsairs. But if there are a lot of shuttles, then Corsairs can be pretty good. Alright, we gotta make sure we figure out who is who. Alright, what colors are they? Okay, Reach is white. Nalra is brown. So up in the top right, we have Nalra. And over in the bottom left. Okay, well, not yet. This is Reach. So Nalra up 1-0. If you missed the last game. It's a decent PvP. Not bad. I do think we're going to be on one base for a while. Just these bases are kind of like two bases, so they've sort of already expanded. And kind of tough to expand in this matchup, although without the ability for goons to run across the map, that might change. Definitely going to see a lot less Zealots this game, I think. Maybe there could be, I think something like a recall with, like, recalling a bunch of Zealots onto your opponent's continent might actually be good. Just because it's unlikely that they'll have a lot of Zealots, and Zealots are kind of a weird unit where, like, they're not good in some situations, but in other situations they're, like, the best unit in the game. So, if then one of those is when your opponent can't run and they don't have any Zealots to tank, it can be really good. It can definitely do some damage. I think we probably won't see that though. I doubt that very much. Actually, there was a game, a Zerg Mirror. I can't remember who was in it, but we did see something similar where one player made a bunch of Zerglings and then put a Nidus on their opponent's continent and was able to use them that way. And again, that Zerglings, you know, if your opponent has the right sort of answer to them, they're not that good. But if they don't, Zerglings will just tear through everything in front of them. Especially if you get that Adrenal Glands upgrade, which if you've got Nidus, you've got Adrenal Glands. So, yeah. Can be a pretty interesting strat to go for. Definitely some value to be gained in ideas like that on this map, or just island maps in general. I think this map specifically, at least for Zerg, a little more, because you actually have the space to hide the hatchery you need for creep. In Protoss Mirror, you can just recall on top of their base and it's fine. But yeah, if this were a Zerg matchup, maybe a little more likely than a different island map. Although you can just, like, I guess you can technically just put your Nidus on their creep. Huh. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that would work, especially if your opponent puts a hatchery sort of away from the rest of their stuff. Maybe you could, like, draw their mutas away. I don't know. Anyway, we do see that Nalra, I almost forgot who was who here. We do see that Nalra has gone for a Stargate and Reach has gone Robo. So I think this might be really good for Nalra. If he can catch the shuttle, then he might just win the game. That's basically where we're at. I assume that is the... Oh, that's actually the observatory. No support bait quite yet. I thought this was going to be for Reavers, but maybe just observers. Naura, on the other hand, not worried about something like a DT drop. Says, I'm just going to kill your shuttle before it gets here with my Corsair. And first Corsair is now popping out. Robo facility started for him, so he's is going to be getting into Observer, I imagine. Suppose this could be like StarCraft 2, where you make a Stargate and make like 2 units out of it and then stop. Although that is usually against Zerg, I believe. It's been a while, I don't really watch StarCraft 2 anymore. The thing about StarCraft 2 is that Heart of the Swarm came out, and then I stopped caring, to be honest. Possibly the worst expansion of any game ever. Yeah, it was really bad. I don't mean to be down, but like it was so bad. Swarm hosts, what were they thinking? I have no idea. Anyway, second Stargate started. So definitely going to be a pretty big commitment into Corsair here. And I would think a carrier follow-up. Carriers are pretty good. So yeah, I imagine that if you're building a second Stargate, you probably do want to eventually go into carriers. This Corsair getting a nice little scout off, sees the support bay, and yeah, it's tough to go for drops against someone who is building Corsairs, especially if they're on 2 Stargate. And Reach does now see that, so it's going to be interesting to see where he goes. I believe that support bay is already finished, so yeah, and it's like the fastest building upgrade or building in the game, one of anyway. So yeah, definitely is done by now, so he can't cancel it. I thought maybe that might be the play. And you could get shuttle speed, and with speed, your shuttles won't get completely owned by Corsairs, but it's still a risk. I mean, Corsairs are pretty fast too. Citadel of Dune started, so it looks like Reach wants to go into some sort of Templar attack. And I guess if you had like... So I was thinking you could put a Reaver and a Goon in your shuttle, and then when the Corsairs chase your shuttle, you drop the Goon. But like, that's not going to kill Corsairs very fast. So I don't think that works. But if you have a Reaver and 2 Templar in your shuttle, and the Corsairs fly in, you drop a Templar and storm them, that might work. Sidestorm kills Corsairs pretty damn fast. It's not something you see very often because Corsairs really aren't made in this matchup, except for on island maps. But yeah, they're not the tankiest unit. Sidestorm, I mean, they're not armored or anything either, but Sidestorm wouldn't care. What? Oh. We switched perspective or something? I don't know. Anyway, we do have a lot of Corsairs being produced here, which makes sense. I mean, if you're going to be on double Stargate, you might as well build a bunch of Corsairs and then go into and then go into your carriers. Might even see a 3rd Stargate for those carriers at some point. Not going into them quite yet. Naura, I think trying to catch a shuttle or something with these Corsairs. Ooh, a Dark Archon. Okay. I don't know where this is going, but I want to be there. That's what I'm saying. Dark Archons are so rarely used, and it's a real shame because they are a really cool spellcaster. Not just for mind control, but the like paralyzed spell or whatever. I can't remember what it's called. Prism or something is pretty cool. So we'll see what goes on here. That observer actually has speed, so it is able to run away from those Archons. Oh my god, Dragoons. One day I'll remember what the units are called. Is this like 2nd Dark Archon? I think it will be. It looks like, yeah, actually we're going up to 3 Dark Archons here, so. Maelstrom, that's what it's called. Maelstrom is pretty cool. Maelstrom plus Psystorm is a pretty spicy combo. Now that I think about it, if I remember correctly, Maelstrom like locks them in place for... It doesn't last nearly as long as Stasis, but it's still kind of in like that same venue. Okay, and Fleet Beacon is done now, so those are carriers being produced. I mean, mind controlling a carrier is pretty good. Kind of seems like a viable option for dealing with carriers. Fourth Dark Archon being produced, quite a bit of those. Now, Nalra does see them, so cat's out of the bag on this one, but kind of doesn't matter too much. Like, if you're making 4 Dark Archons, you're not just going for that like cheeky surprise mind control or whatever, Maelstrom into Storm or something like that. You're kind of committing to a game plan that involves them. So I'm not sure. I mean, obviously you don't want them to know what you're doing until you have to reveal it to use it, but as far as scouting Dark Archons goes, it's not as bad as it could be. Corsairs flying over that. I think there was a probe there, so if Nalra was paying attention, he should know that there is going to be a base taken. Damn, observers are fast with that upgrade. Look at all these Dark Archons, up to 5 now. I'm trying to remember, they have a third. Oh, feedback, right? I don't. Well, I mean, if there's High Templar, you can feedback those, but is that the only? Oh, you can feedback Corsairs. Is that the plan here? I don't like. Are the Corsairs really the problem? I feel like the Corsairs aren't the problem. Really, what he's probably looking for is to mind control carriers. Could be no Side Storm out that though. So I don't think it's for Maelstrom. Maelstrom can be pretty good against those Corsairs though. Just locking them in place for his Dragoons to kill them off. Oh, I think there was an observer. I thought that the carriers just were in an active revolt killing a pylon, but I think they killed an observer. Probes being loaded into this shuttle, so Nalra is, actually transferring over this base he's already taken. Actually, both players have expanded at roughly the same time. I'm really interested in what the plan here. I mean, obviously for Nalra, the plan is carriers because they're good, but is this for mind control or Maelstrom? It's kind of the question to me. Either one sounds cool. Could be both. I mean, there's no reason you can't get both. It does have quite a few of those Dark Archons, so the extra research is probably worth it. Observer picked off there. Poor observer. Looks like those Dark Archons are actually in a shuttle somewhere. So we might be seeing what they are up to pretty soon. Yep, loading more of them into shuttles. I have to think at least part of it is to mind control carriers. If you mind control a carrier and then lose your Dark Archon, seems worth, dude. You get a carrier, they lose a carrier, hell yeah. That's definitely worth the, what is it, 125, 250, 250. And that's a carrier on the cheap. So even if you mind control a carrier and then it immediately dies, still worth. Corsair is coming in here. Will we see a Maelstrom? Actually, a Reaver too. Mind control it. That would be sick. Not quite. The Corsairs do manage to kill off the shuttles here. One last shuttle does not get away. Yeah, so we don't know what exactly the plan is with these Dark Archons yet. And that Reaver was either mind controlled or what I think the case is. Yeah, it looks like that was just Reach's Reaver. Yeah, Nalra doesn't have Reaver tech. Good point. Come on, ZT. More carriers in protection here. We do have 4 out now, though, so a pretty decent count. And 2 more Stargates on the way. So Nalra is committing pretty heavily to this carrier plan, which is great, honestly. Like, carriers are awesome. I think I would prefer to be the carrier player than the Dark Archon player. It's certainly... It seems a lot safer. Now, obviously, Dark Archons can line up very well against those carriers, like I've been talking about. Carriers are now attacking this here base for Nalra. Interceptors do a pretty good job of fighting just about anything, but cannons, anything they can shoot while being out of range. Well, a carrier can be out of range, because losing an interceptor to kill a cannon is a great trade. Okay, Dark Archons dropped, and 1 gets MC'd, 2 get MC'd. So those are not Nalra's anymore. His coursers jump onto them to try to kill them off in time. Even if they do go down, like I was talking about, it's still worth it. And the Dark Archons are even going to live here. Still haven't even killed one of those carriers. First one goes down, second one goes down. But some Corsairs died for it, and the Dark Archons live. So that was a huge moment. Definitely a nice play for Reach. He must be very happy with that outcome. And now, I mean, his plan is... we've seen it now. It was mind controlling the carriers. And I like it. I definitely like it. The only problem here for Reach right now is that Nalra is taking one of these Midlantia bases, and he is not. Again, his shuttles are caught by the Archons, but an Archon is dropped out, or by the Corsairs, but an Archon gets dropped out of the shuttle, and Archons will obliterate Corsairs. Actually, oh, those are mind-controlled Corsairs. So a couple more mind controls went down. Those Corsairs are actually going to live here. I'm trying to think, how much energy is mind? I think it's like 150 or something. It's a lot. It's not a cheap spell. Also, when you mind control, the Dark Archon loses all of its shields, which is kind of hilarious. Like, mind control is such a... I don't want to say underutilized, because that sort of implies that people should be using it. But it's not overused. We're gonna go with that. You don't see a lot of mind control. It's kind of funny that the creators of the game thought that it was going to be so broken that it needed to also deplete the Dark Archon's shields. It's like, well, actually, this spell is okay, but like, it's not that good. But it does do that. So after you mind control, your Dark Archon has at most 10 HP. Looks like Reach is planning something over here at Nalra's base. This is a gas base, which matters. Carriers getting mind controlled again. Another big mind control on those two carriers. And I don't even know if there are enough Corsairs around here to kill them off. There are also some cannons and two Corsairs two stolen Corsairs of Reaches in the area to help protect them from that Corsair flock. And we're getting to the point where this Dark Archon strat is really paying off. I think if you can get two carriers, it's like, well, whatever. You could have done that. You know, you could have just killed them. But now he's mind controlled 4 carriers. So that's 4 carriers built by Nalra. And now also, you know, two of those carriers just were killed, essentially. But now 2 of them are on his opponent's side, which is a huge swing. Cannons were taken out at that base, and so now Dragoons are free to rain down heavenly damage upon these probes. Getting quite a few kills there. Okay, Nalra is dropping on Midlantia, though, so let's see what he can get done. Pushing through these cannons with his Reaver and Dragoons. The Archon force is moving over here to intercept, though. I mean, what is there to really take? Just the Reaver at this point. I mean, I guess you could mind control goons. That's fine-ish. But, nothing. Okay, I don't know what that Archon was doing exactly. Oh, he did mind control the Reaver. The Reavers don't even have a brain. What the hell? Reavers are robotic units. I wonder... So it would be totally like a flavor thing, but I wouldn't hate it if you couldn't mind control things without a brain. Like a Reaver or a Probe, or... What else doesn't have a brain in this game? Observers, or... Well, I guess all the robo units. Does shuttle have like a pilot? I don't think so. I think they're just like an AI that pilots shuttles. Yeah. I think from a gameplay perspective it wouldn't matter because all those are Protoss units. And just like a flavor thing, it's kind of a win. It would make mind control even worse though, so I'm not sure that's necessary. Here we go, a drop over on this base. Nalra taking out one of those Dark Archons. I think it was probably still low. And the other gets popped by that Reaver as well. So, finally, some kills on those Dark Archons for Nalra. Lots of disruption webs went down on those cannons, but the Reaver, or the carriers have come back just to be wiped out by these Corsairs. And honestly, at the end of the day, a pretty nice drop. Nalra getting some pretty good damage. Is losing Corsairs here at the end of it, but did manage to kill quite a few of those expensive units. Wait, what? Oh, Nara has like 2 Dragoons here, killing a base. I see. Oh, and a Reaver? Yeah, I guess so. Dark Archon drops! Mind control! Mind control! Just doesn't do it. Is that... Wait, was that Nalra's base? Oh, that was Nalra's base getting taken out. Okay. So, Reach able to deny that base there. I just figured that it must be Reach's base, just given the location. That is the Midlantia base that is sort of supposed to be his, but his bases on the Middle Continent are kind of weird. I mean, I wouldn't say, I guess, either side of the map definitely has one of them. It's definitely a different sort of situation. A lot of Corsairs here getting ready, I think, to put disruption webs on these cannons, and then a drop will commence from those shuttles. Reach is flying around with his own group of shuttles, though, so I think that did actually persuade Nalra to fall back. A couple goons dropped here, but now Nalra is dropping on these units in the middle. Looks like he's taking a pretty good engagement here. Shuttles are getting gunned down by these Corsairs. Cannons are shooting back at them, but maybe not quite enough to kill them. That Archon, though, gets some pretty nice shots on them. I think the real story here, though, is that Nalra has been able to get a pretty good position on this island, but actually, mind control goes down on that Reaver, and I lied. Actually, Reach is going to win that fight pretty one-sidedly. Some fake news right there, that's for sure. So shuttles, where are they going? I need a drink of water, that's what I need. Much better. Always drink the water, kids. Alright, those goons able to take out that cannon from the high ground. Poor observer. Just flew. What the hell? How many observers were there? Oh wow. Corsairs once again able to kill off the shuttles of Reach. It's kind of been one of the problems of this game for him. That is something I talked about pretty early on in the cast too. How good Corsairs can be at killing those dropships. I wasn't even thinking about the sort of AoE nature of their attack, hitting a bunch of drops at once, but that is part of it. Those 2 Corsairs get gunned down quickly. Disruption webs on top of the cannons, but the shuttles are unloading their units. It's like... Oh, a lot of them are probes, though. So, not really going to be able to help fight this. That Reaver gets taken out, and so does that one, so... Reach looking like he's going to win, at least in this fight. What's the plan with this Dark Archon? Wait, hold on. Those are Nalra's probes? What is going on? This game is so crazy. I can't even tell whose units are whose. Mirrors on this map are insane. Although I guess more insane is when someone goes for Dark Archons, really. I think partially we are seeing like the superiority of air tech on this map, though. Like the Dark Archons have been pretty decent. Mind control? No? No mind control. Okay. The Dark Archons have been pretty decent. They've taken a few carriers and stuff like that, but even still, these Corsairs have just done such a good job of limiting Reach's ability to move around the map. A nice storm on top of those Corsairs. I do believe at least one of them went down. Most of them do fly out, but they are definitely without shields and probably has some damage on them. Another storm would be able to finish them off. I would have liked to see Reach try to... Oh, no, runaway Dark Archon. Oh, sad. I would have liked to see Reach try to combo Maelstrom with Storm at some point. I think if he'd Maelstrom those Corsairs and then Storm them, that could have actually been a game-winning type of move. Or, I mean, even better, the carriers. Nice mind control there on that carrier. It will get picked off immediately, but that is worth still. Looks like the Archon might die here, but actually no, not going to get focused down, so essentially just another free carrier killed. Nalra forced to pull back here. You know, Reach is actually looking pretty good in this game. If we just look at the minimap, a lot of that is just cannons, but if you have cannons all over the place, that kind of implies that you have map control of that area. And having cannons covering that mid-continent is pretty good. You can also probably put some cannons behind the base of Naura on that continent as well and stop it from mining. Naura is attacking down here at Reach's base, but a good storm forces those Corsairs to run away. It's a lot more difficult to kill dropships when you're in the middle of a Psionic Storm. I think we can all agree. Now the Corsairs do fly in, are getting some pretty good hits on the shuttles, do kill them off, but another storm has at least some revenge on them. Now the carriers are running in. Man, if you could just maelstrom those carriers and storm them, that would actually be so huge. Even just maelstrom them and get a normal Archon underneath. That was a decent storm. It did land on top of the carriers. That Templar is gonna actually live. Most of these interceptors are dead now, it looks like, so kind of tough for carriers to actually attack stuff when they have no interceptors. Couple more Dark Archons. Are they ready? That's the question. That one's got no shields, so I'm assuming it is not ready. Now we're dropping Dragoons on top of them. Oh no, Dark Archons, run! Oh, sad. Okay, his shuttle does pick up 2 of them, so only one of them is going to go down, but still, pretty expensive loss there. I love that Reach has just continued to make Dark Archons throughout this game. He started with those first, I think he went up to 6, put them all in dropships, and then just kept making them. He's definitely lost more than 2 Dark Archons in this game, so he's definitely continued in that production. That disruption web. Oh, that's not how a disruption web works. Never mind. I was gonna say that disruption web helping the Templar get away, but no, that's the Zerg one. That's whatever cloud that is. Dark Archon drop and another mind control on a carrier. That Dark Archon does get killed off. Another good mind control there. Pick it up. Pick up the Dark Archon. Shuttle, don't abandon him. Carrier is running away, and actually, as the Corsairs chase over top of the cannons, pretty good damage done to them. A couple of them do go down. I think that Dark Archon was picked up, but it was in that shuttle, so it's definitely dead now. But a storm on top of those air units, killing so many of them. A great couple storms there for Reach. Now these Dark Archons are being attacked, but this air fleet for Naura has really been whittled down. Looks like 3 Corsairs and 2 carriers are all that remain of it. I imagine those Stargates are producing, and he does have 4 of them, so he can refill pretty quickly. Oh, was that mind controlled or something? I think another carrier got mind controlled, but immediately taken out. Still fine for Reach. Just killing a carrier is such a big win for him. Naura looking pretty unsure of his position in this game. I kind of agree with him. I think Reach is going to take it with his Dark Archon play, which is kind of awesome. He's just been able to kind of grind Naura out. And there we go. Naura throws out the GG. Well played by Reach. I love to see a Dark Archon win. Tell me Protoss Mirror is boring. Try it. Okay. There was a lot of downtime in that game, but it had some exciting moments. And I think part of that is just we were on Paradox, which is kind of a map that brings out the worst best of us. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed that one, and I hope you tune in for game number 3.